Oh yeah, welcome once again. It is I, it is I, it's I, it's I, and it's I. Thank you very much for the introduction of Mr. Vuyo Bisukula over there. That was introducing us into the philosophy of a dying nation that was dead long time ago when it began to be governed by the 4664 government of the South African government since 1994 until 2019 in the COVID of 2019. Therefore, Mr. Yogi Sukul over there was crying that young children are needing skills development for economic opportunities, yes, for their next ancient, futuristic future of the next generation in the present continuous in linguistic terms of the modern philosophy. Therefore, now we are in the playlist of the Manuesto, yes, ventures a category of sport, wellness, health, as it is how it is designed. You will remember that way back, yes, in our Western Cape government, in the late 80s, early 90s, before 1994, we used to be an academia of education in sports-related promotions, community sport partnerships, in yes, in the bound education of our own time of education. Yes, I remember in those days we used to go to the Green Point Stadium, yes, for the athletic days that it took almost from the last week of January until the last week of February every year since way back in the early 80s, even before 80s. We used to do the javelins, we used to do the long jump, we used to do the hurdlers, 100 sprinters, 200, and then we used to do a relay. Yes, we used to do even javelin, we used to do a shot put, all those kind of sports sportivity of the global, international, worldwide world. Therefore, we currently were introducing to soccer, we introduced into tennis, snooker, and then we were broadly going across in table tennis, and then all those those they were the inheritance and the endurance and the of our own time when we were students until 1999. Yes, most of the students of the black and colored townships of the Western Cape and the city of Cape Town, with all its sub-councils, others were dropped out of school, others were ex-cons, others went to prison, others were chased away of school because of thinking that they are a gangster life that can't be controlled, but the maintenance of education into career guidance to teach them how to be self-motivated, self-esteemed, and self-disciplined. But the sporting activity, well, didn't stop from there, because in 1996 we were in the Olympic beat at the city heart of Cape Town in Parade. And then in 1995 it was the yeah. Sorry? How many minutes are left? What's the time? You see, and then we went into the 1996 Olympic beat at the city of Cape Town, because the international, global, worldwide world knew that our basic foundation, primary and secondary students that inherited all the education from the 1976, 1980s, and 1990s was capable enough, yes, to be part of the global world in terms of the Olympic beats of the 1996. Because all the schools from black townships, community townships, they were engaged in every sport, straight to tennis and straight to even javelin and swimming, draw them together, karate, others went straight to soccer, others were interested in cricket, and others were broadly in rugby, football of that certain time of life of the 19th century. And then when it came to the government of the ANC, all those sports collapsed. They collapsed time by time. They collapsed day by day. They collapsed hour by hour. They collapsed even year by year. Until when the time came in that the only sport that the South African government of the 1994 until 2019 was concentrating on, it was only football, soccer. Therefore, as we close, I'm in trouble. I'm in real big trouble. I need y'all to do me a favor. Someone please So therefore, our sporting world and our global world is for us to ensure that the wheel of fortune is out there, yes, and the new world order has been discovered, yes, in year 2000. So the passion of I have a dream, the passion of keep the dream alive, the passion of understanding that we are I and I together as one. So all sporting codes out there in the global world, even from the as our inspiration, our motivation, it was the Japan 2000, yes, and it was the African Cup of Nations of 2019, and then the World Cup rugby of 2019, and also not forgetting the African Cup of Nations of World Cup 2019, and then also not forgetting the women's rugby World Cup winners of Miss Babalwa, who stays 17 feet away from this GSB right now. Therefore, right now, we are ensuring that we want to come back into the global world and ensure that our community townships are developing more sportive activity because the problem is one, that the local government, one is the national government, which is why in most of the black townships of our own state of Cape Town, Western Cape government, and then the global world, wild world, are so devastated in terms they were robbed, they were manipulated, and they were distracted in the growth of the universal worldwide world in terms of sporting codes and sporting worldwide world. We thank you for Nigeria in the World Cup, that became the quarterfinals. I think it was 1990 or 1994. Therefore now this is the Manuesto Creations dedicated to the Manuesto Ventures category of sport, wealth and health, foreign direct investments, and the AEEI, meaning all the continents of the continental world, global world of one earth. We want to come out there and represent all the multi-native, racial native nations of the one for all and one for one that are disadvantaged, underpopulated, and underdeveloping countries of international worldwide continental continents of the United Nations. How many minutes are there? Therefore, now I believe that the most criteria thing of them all, the 4664 of the government of 1994 until 2019, that they were so desperate to buy a World Cup of 2014 for 10 million rand dollars, of 10 million rand dollars in the World Cup of 2014. As you have understood that now, we are talking now that the sporting codes that we want to develop are on this criteria. Each and every single community, municipality, peninsula, village, blocks, informal settlement, formal settlement, and the urban and the suburbs of every continental country, state of Europe, Asia, Indonesia, Rhodesia, Madagascar, Iceland, and the islands of the 7 seas and the 7 islands, Latin America, North America, Europe, and Middle East. We want to have what we call it is a multi-purpose partial care, mass and development centers for early childhood development and youth development to train what young people from the age of 26 years old to age of 45 years old, all the sporting codes in a leadership of the CETA leadership in terms of multi-purpose partial care, mass and development centers. Therefore, let's close this first chapter from the previous introduction of Piece of Yusukula and getting on the third in the playlist of sports, welfare and wealth of the Manuesto venture category of sport, economy, foreign direct investments, and that one we have mentioned already through. Thank you. What's the time now? Yeah, you can close it now. Okay. I remember Mr. Yogi Sukulwa in some time ago, he was wearing his jacket known as the Western Cape Provincial Sporting Confederation. All those sporting confederations are the ones that we are going to introduce next, because we provided it in the 1980s and 1990s before the 4664 government of Mandela until 1994 until 2019.